How's it going, everybody? We're back again for chapter 1171, I think, of One Piece. So, new chapter, first chapter, 2026. We ended the Loki flashback or the Harold flashback with really good character work for Loki. We got more emotional panels for Loki. We got that a lot in this flashback, and it's been really good. But I'm really happy that Jarl doesn't have amnesia about the events and that they're still there, and obviously he knows about what's going on. And obviously the whole idea of Shanks knowing about these events is very interesting because it means the fight 6 years ago has some other implications, which I'm really excited about. I hope we do eventually get to see that, because that's a fight I'm really, really excited for. Because Loki and Harold have redefined the power ceiling of One Piece almost completely, and Rocks as well. Because I wasn't making videos during the Rocks period of time. I was on a bit of a hiatus, but we're back now, and I'm gonna talk about that in a lot of detail at some stage. We might even get into it in this video. But Loki and Harold in itself have redefined the power scale of One Piece, and I know One Piece isn't about power scale, but we're talking about like the levels of fights we're about to see in the final saga is more so what I mean. So seeing like probably the two like top tiers, two of the top tiers go at it in such a way is very exciting. I can't wait to see how it's done, how it's approached. I'm very interested. I hope we get to see it. I was hoping we got to see it in this flashback, but I honestly think that sort of thing will be saved for a Shanks flashback in the future. We got a little bit of Shanks character work this chapter. Um, After all the Harold stuff went down, Shanks was kind of clutching at his arm, like, "Oh, I'm disgusted." Disgusted at his heritage, disgusted at what went down, disgusted at the fact he wasn't able to help Harold. And we got some talk from Yasan or Gabon about that and how, like, he needs to understand, everyone's life has a purpose, and his in particular, as the child of destiny, has something that is going to impact the end of the story, which I'm really excited for. Shanks turning into a more complicated character is incredible. We're gonna see so much vulnerability from him, and we saw it in this particular chapter, in the previous few chapters, a bit of vulnerability from Shanks with Buggy and everything like that. So I'm really excited about the upcoming few arcs and how Shanks is gonna play into it. And we have Shamrock as well. Man, that voice. I haven't got to talk about it that much, but holy Christ, Seto Kaiba as Shamrock is incredible. I cannot wait for that, man. It's gonna be so sexy. Oh my god. Um. I can't wait to see them on screen together in like 2027 or something like that. But oh my god, man. Honestly, it's fascinating. And then we get more. We kind of go back and we get some resolution between Harridan and Loki, which obviously is great. We're setting up. We're still setting up the idea of both of them ruling Elbat together, which obviously will mean Loki's not on the crew, which I don't want. I want Loki on the crew, man. Loki is my guy. I love that man so much, bro. I want a Loki poster up here, lads. We finally got Chopper and Usopp. We got two more left to go. So hopefully by the time I collect the other two, we get some Loki action, and I can have an 11th poster up there. So we're chipping away at it, We're chipping away at the Straw Hat crew, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that. We even see that in this chapter with Loki's interactions with Luffy. Luffy has never showed interest in someone's past before. I'm wondering where that's coming from. I'm really interested. Now, it could just be a whole thing where everyone keeps calling him, Nika, and he's like, "What is that?" And then Loki's talking about it, and he's like, "All right, I'll listen and see what it is." And it might just be a bit of curiosity, but I'm very excited to see where this goes, man. The two of them fighting together. Like, I don't think Loki is Nika or has a Nika fruit. Obviously, the color page makes us, one of the color pages from years ago makes people think it's a dragon, which is interesting. I would be cool if it's a dragon. I love Otis dragon designs, especially a more westernized dragon. I know we got that in Punk Hazard, but like a more, an actual character. Be really cool to see. I'd be really excited about that. And just to see Luffy fighting with him, because it could be a thing where Luffy rides on his back like he did with Momo, but like as a semi-giant, Gear 5. That shit would be so cool, Game of Thrones-esque, says the guy who's never watched Game of Thrones. But I I don't know, man. Like, it's so exciting to see, and to see that scene, like, even in Egghead, that was one of my favorite scenes in Egghead when Luffy was going, like, doing the Nika dance and Bonnie saw it, and that one panel, oh, it was beautiful, man. That panel made me think she's definitely joining the crew because I was like, come on, like, you're not going to do something so beautiful for a non Straw Hat, but then Bonnie, obviously, the stuff that's going on with Bonnie. Bonnie's still incredible. Like, we talk about Loki now because Loki's the new character, but Bonnie's character work was so good, man. The anime did fantastic job with it. Well, not that particular scene. That particular scene was butchered big time. It was one of the only scenes I think was butchered horrifically. Was the when Bonnie saw Luffy as Nika, which I thought was terrible because it was one of the better scenes in the manga. The manga of Egghead is a fantastic read. I read it before, reread it when it finished. Fantastic read. The anime I do love, and I think it's better in terms of overall production. But that one particular scene was butchered for me. I know they fixed it in like the recap, but still on the initial episode, man, it's so sad. It's actually so sad what happened there. But regardless, this chapter is essentially like just setting up for the final fight. Now with we got Sanji going up with Yasan and stuff, and we got all the big new giant warrior pirates coming up to fight, which I'm looking forward to as well because I think Harden's gonna get a boost. He's gonna get some Conqueror's hockey stuff. He's probably gonna. What's probably gonna happen is he begins to fight Dory and Broggy in the beginning, and then Loki and Luffy will come up and finish the job at some stage, or Yarrow will get taken over, and then Harden has to fight him. And then we get some fights with the surrounding giants fighting the rest of them, like Road and Garud and stuff. And then obviously the Straw Hats will fight the Holy Knights at some stage, or some sort of combination of that. I really don't know how it's going to go. I actually have no idea, because eventually Emu is going to be fighting Luffy at some stage. I hope Shanks shows up, man. I want Luffy to meet Shanks this year. That is something I want to be there to cover. I am so excited for that chapter to land. Because I feel like we're setting that up. We're getting more Shanks vulnerability, more stuff to come, more, we're getting more character for Shanks. So I think it's the perfect time for this to happen. And I cannot wait for it, man. I am so excited. But like my whole thing, right, is that obviously we're going to get Loki realizing that Luffy is Nika, and that's going to come really soon. But I don't think it's going to come as soon as we think. I'd say it's going to be half a year. I'd say Luffy's just going to be there fascinated by Loki the whole time. And then when Loki has that bit of doubt again, Nika's going to come and save the day. It's going to brighten, it's going to free him. Because we hear a lot of talk, and I wasn't here to talk about it, so I'm going to talk about this now. We hear a lot of talk about retconning the arm thing. I don't think it's going to be a retcon. I think it's just going to be a thing where it was like, it will have helped him, but like, incidentally, I don't think he'll know about it. He will notice it, because he smiles after it gets bitten off. He might notice it after Luffy goes your arm and he realizes, oh shit. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to be intentional. I know Oda wants this. I wouldn't really mind it, to be honest, because Nika has been a very heavy theme and liberation and everything. It will be a bit weird, but I get over it. It's something that it makes sense. They are bringing up, like, even the arm he's touching and he's scraping at is that arm. So Oda seems to be setting that up to be there, but I hope not. I hope it's just realized in that moment it wasn't an intentional decision. But we'll have to see. Like, obviously, I don't know. Shanks is I'm growing to love Shanks a lot more this arc with all the character work he's getting, and obviously Dragon Man. Oh, I didn't get to talk about this, but the Dragon moment, man, was so good in God Valley, so good, so good. We are finally getting some Dragon moments bit by bit. I always said, I remember my theory for Egghead was Dragon was going to show up and save the day because he was going to go after Kuma. But obviously that's not how, that didn't happen. And I'm going to say it every arc, Emu's here now, the God Knights have moved. Please, if it's not Shanks showing up, let Dragon show up. Do you know what I mean? Because I think realistically, I've always said this before, the shonen rule has always been, until the dad meets the son is never stronger than the dad. So Dragon still has to show another level of power that Luffy has not reached yet. You know what I mean? But it's weird with that because obviously Luffy's at a final stage. He's at the final stage of Conqueror's Hockey that he's probably going to get in Elbath. because we're meeting another old man from the Roger crew who has, all this stuff going for him. So it's interesting to see what is going to happen here and how it's going to be approached. Because obviously, Loki has changed the game, man. The level of Conqueror's hockey, the level of Harold was top one in the verse for so long, So now Loki's stronger than that. Shanks is stronger than Loki. Dragon's probably up there with both of them. And then you got Emu who's stronger than that. You got the Fleet Admiral. You've got all these characters who have to be stronger than Harold to some degree. I know people are like, Sabo's gonna fight Akainu, and I do agree with that, but I think he's not gonna be the one to fight him initially. I think it's gonna either be a duo fight up until a certain point, or Luffy's gonna fight him and then Sabo's gonna come in and finish the job. Because obviously I feel like Luffy has more important fights like the Emu or Blackbeard fight. I still think, because it seems to be coming this way where everyone's the meme is oh, One Piece is turned into Naruto. You got the two, you got Blackbeard and Luffy. You got a sun god of some kind. You got Emu, and I still think it'd be funny because I know Oda and Kishimoto are friends. If Oda recreates the scene with Zetsu stabbing Madara, with it being Blackbeard going "Zay ha ha ha" as he clenches, as he goes through Emu and clenches it like this and goes "Zay ha 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 ha," that shit would be hilarious. I just think that would be so funny, and it'd be such a good panel as well. Oh my god, it would be incredible. I'm just so excited to see that happen, to see all of this stuff happen, and we're getting into the stage now where we're fighting Emu, so crazy stuff could happen, Oda could throw a left field. I don't think Emu's going to be here for long. I don't think we're going to get the full extent of Emu's powers. But if Oda really wants to rush this story along, he could have something happen to Emu in this fight. Because we did get the moment where, when a God's Knight is destroyed in some way, it affects Emu. Now, I do think it's going to be a thing where it affects him badly at first, but he gets his powers back. So I'd say he gets stronger in the long run, so that could be a way to power him up in the middle of the fight to some degree. Or it has a negative effect on his powers and lifespan because he gave it out and now he has to get rid of it. I don't know. We could see that happen, because you could have, obviously everyone goes down before the final boss. That's how it works. Even with King and Queen, Sanji and Zoro took them out. So if Zoro and Sanji take out some 5 elders and that damages Emu and such, and then obviously or Shanks with Shamrock and vice versa. That sort of stuff will be an interesting idea, interesting approach to the story and how it goes. And obviously they said Elbath is D, so maybe we'll find out more stuff about Elbath as well and about the D. I have no theories on the D. I won't lie to you, I have no idea. When it comes to the D, I'm just along for the ride. Dawn was a possibility. Davy's a possibility. But Davy's a Beck. You know what? It's Roswald, isn't it? For one of those, for one of the Celestial Dragon family. So that's entirely possible. And that would be kind of funny. I won't lie. But yeah, no, there's... Do you know what I mean? I wonder if it's going to be something to be kept for this arc. I think the D being Elbath is interesting because no one in Elbath has the D name. So if the D name is to show alliance with Elbath, because we will hopefully get the final poneglyph here. I don't know who the man marked by flames is. I still think it might be Gabon because he's obviously marked, but then we saw it was marked by Harold. Although it could have been if Loki is a dragon, he could have marked him with fire by accident. So there's different ways they could approach it, but I do think he's gonna put a lot into Elbath, put a lot of reveals into Elbath, so then we can push on to the final war after Elbath finishes. I don't know how it's going to be done, but I'm very excited for it, And I think this Emu fight, all these fights are going to be incredible. And obviously we got Sanji getting Conqueror's Hockey. Oh, man. Hopefully that's done really well. That's the thing with Sanji, and I've said this before. Sanji gets these things where he's either done fantastically or he's done ass. With the invisible fruit in Thriller Bark or Act 2 of Wano. So it's 2 out of 1,000 chapters. So hopefully it's done like the Queen fight or done like the Enel stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And then there's Enel coming back, man. There could be a whole thing where Luffy doesn't even fight Emu. Imagine Luffy doesn't even fight Emu because he's too busy fighting Enel. And then like we have like Loki confronting Emu for what he did to his father, and then Emu gets some because of what's going on in like the Holy Land with Dragon, let's say, or Blackbeard or Shanks or someone. There's one of these three people. Now I'm a firm believer that it has to be probably Blackbeard in some way. Because that's what I'm saying, right? Because he was there looking at the shipments, right? We got Lafitte there. Then he has 3 of the poneglyphs. So there's an approach to be taken where it could be Blackbeard. I thought it was Shanks, but then I also think there's a possibility that Shanks shows up at Elbath, and then there's also a possibility of Dragon showing up at Elbath, whereas I don't think there's any possibility of Blackbeard showing up at Elbath. So my current belief is that it's Blackbeard. I don't think he'll be able to do the final blow yet, but it will be a reason to go to Marijoa because they'll come back, they'll see something happen to Emu, but someone will be kidnapped, whether it's Gunko and her connection to Brook will make them go back for Gunko, or something to do with Vivi. I think whatever happens here is gonna push them to go to the Marijoa. Yeah, so push them to go to Marijoa, and then we're gonna see. That way, Emu doesn't have to fight at full power. We don't have to see that yet. But then we can have, I don't know, a reason to go to Marijoa. It's probably going to be Gunko, which means we're probably going to go into another flashback for Brook. That's going to be very interesting. I don't know how that's going to go. I can only see it working if he's like Brook's surrogate daughter to some degree. I don't know. I'm excited. I might talk about that in a separate video when I have enough time to reread Elbath and talk about that in detail. But with that, I'd like to say thanks for watching. It's good to be back for the chapter reviews. Sorry this one was a bit short. I have a bit of a cold and I had a bit of a coughing fit there a second ago. I don't know if I'm going to edit it out with the video or what I'm going to do. So, just have to cut this one short. I'll make a separate video in a couple of days going into more detail about the stuff I didn't get to talk about. Yeah, with that being said, thanks for watching and hope you all have a good day. And cheers.